What's going on, all my Pokey peeps? It's your boy Pokey Pete, and we back at it again. Today we have something a little bit different to show you guys. Something I think is important for everybody to know about, and just kind of just gonna go over some like Pokemon card rarities. So we just had our Charlotte Collecticon, and at the Collecticon, I picked up an all-time Holy Grail card. It is my Crystal Nidoking. Some of you guys have seen it, some of you have not. You'll all see it in a second. So for those of you who don't know, I love crystal types. Crystal type Pokemon are my absolute favorite cards that they've ever made. I've always loved them. And now that I'm a bit older and in a bit better position financially, I decided that I was going to collect all of them in a PSA 9 condition. But at the Collecticon convention, I saw a Japanese PSA 10 Crystal Nidoking, which is my all-time favorite card, and I just had to buy it, guys. I had to buy it, and once I did, I realized how much I actually like love the Japanese ones. They are so different from the English ones, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that too. But they are so different. So I have actually decided to change my journey, and instead of collecting all of the English nines, I am now going to be a little bit more upper echelon and a little bit more lofty with these goals. I'm going to try to go for all of the PSA 10 crystal types because that's my favorite thing. I love crystals. I'm a huge crystal type fan, and that's what I enjoy collecting. And today I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about making sure do a little bit of research, but ultimately collect what you like. And we'll talk about that. We're gonna go into some of these cards here. So let's talk about it a little bit, right? Here is that Nidoking, guys, that I picked up, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I stare at this thing all day long. The Japanese Nidoking, the wind from the sea. It's a beautiful card. And honestly, seeing it in this video is not doing it justice. This card it's the kind of card that you have to see in person to really appreciate. Um, while we got it here though, let's find, here we go, some of the nines that I have, and we can compare the Japanese and the English real quick. I brought a lot of cards out for this one, guys. We're going to show off a lot of my collection, and we're just going to kind of talk about some rarities and stuff. So here is the English 9. Nice swirls all days. This is from Aquapolis. It is another beautiful card. I love Crystal Nidoking. But like, you guys can kind of see this, right? I got to get the light right with, I know the ring light's got that glare, but I'm trying to get there's a little hollow effect all over this Nidoking's body and a whole aura that you just really don't see on this Nidoking. And on top of that, you guys might not be able to see it super well. On the Japanese ones, there's actually a hollow box that surrounds the text box. You guys can kind of see it here. If you look right there in that top corner, you'll see like the glare and the outline of what I'm talking about. It looks so different, and to me, when you're holding them in person, you're able to really tell the difference, and it is day and night. And the Japanese one just trumps the English one so hard for me. So that's my new collection goal. So after Collecticon and I picked up this, I went home and instantly fell in love with it. So what did I do? I went straight to eBay and bought another because, why have one king when I can have two? So we got both of the beautiful Crystal Kings from the Wind from the Sea set in Japanese, and Kingdra. Kingdra is kind of goated, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I've always loved Nidoking, and Nidoking's always been my favorite card. But this card, in the right light, at night, in the right angles, it's beautiful. It's this card. It's up there for me. Um, so yeah, like I had to buy it, and I did. And I think what I'm gonna start doing, I think Lugia is gonna be the next one that I go after. I'll go grab a win from the sea Lugia. But something that I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, like you guys might hear crystal types, and you might hear PSA 10 and vintage and Skyridge and e-reader and stuff like that, and just kind of instantly think that maybe you can't afford this kind of stuff. And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video. I can't stress enough. I'm not trying to hype up these cards. These are my favorite cards, right? And if you like alt arts and alt arts are your favorite cards, more power to you. Like everybody should always collect what they like. But I just I feel like people hear crystals and gold stars and vintage and first edition, and they instantly just kind of think like, oh, well, I can't afford that. Like, I'm new to collecting and I can't afford that and I can't get that. And so today I kind of wanted to talk about it, go over some like pop report info because I think that that's a great tool for you guys to use, and just kind of go over a little bit of like pricing that you might not expect. So this Kingdra, for example, its market price is usually right around a $1,500 card. I was patient. I was able to get it. Well, I wasn't really patient. I just kind of got lucky. I was able to snag this card for 1,200 bucks all in. And this is like a PSA 10 crystal type Pokemon from 2002. Like it's super, super old. I was able to snag it for 1,200 bucks. And I know that is a lot of money. I'm not trying to sit here and say $1,200 is not a lot of money. But when you put it in retrospect, like a PSA 10 modern alt art that isn't Umbreon from Eevee Heroes. So it's also Japanese. It's an alt art. It's high end. It's the cream of the crop. All of those go for over 2K. So like when you're sitting here in retrospect, like okay, you kind of can afford it. If you were gonna go after those Eevee Heroes alt arts, then you can afford this Kingdra too. If that's something that you like. Again, I'm not trying to hype it up. I'm just saying I feel like a lot of people don't know that they can actually afford these cards. Like this Nidoking. This is my all-time favorite card. It is a vintage card from Aquapolis. In a PSA 9, this is about an $850 card. It's less than a PSA 10 Evolving Skies Moonbreon. Um, I know that that's like a huge hype card. It's a big card that everybody loves right now. That the Lottie Hearts is another big one that goes for like 1,800 bucks right now. That's like you can literally get these Grail cards for the same price. So like don't instantly think Crystal or Gold Star or First Edition and think that you can't get it. Um, so with that, let's show off a couple other cards here. We got just a regular non-holographic Dark Blastoise. It's got that First Edition stamp. It is a Gem Mint 10 up here. Another kind of expensive card, but this is still cheaper than a lot of raw alt arts. Like you could get this Blastoise for cheaper than a raw alt art Blaziken. It's around 200 bucks, like it's obviously it's not holographic. It's not like the coolest card in the world, but it is an old school first edition Blastoise in a 10, and it might just not be as expensive as you think it would be, right? Here's another one. This is one of my favorites, the Hollow Ampharos. I just love this card. I don't know why. It just when you catch it in the right light, you can kind of see that he's like in a dark path, lighting up a cave. It's just a cool one. I ran Ampharos in my first playthrough of Silver as well, so Ampharos just kind of has a special place in my heart. Again, not an expensive card, right? Got Lapras here. Fossil Lapras. This takes us all the way back to 1999, guys. 1999. Hollow Lapras in a Gem Mint 10. You can get this for less than the price of an alternate art Moonbreon. A good deal on an alt art Moonbreon is like 400 bucks. You can get a vintage Lapras for less than that. You can get a vintage Hollow 10 Lapras for less than the price of a modern Moonbreon. Um, and I'm saying this and I'm stressing this. I'm talking about Moonbreon a lot because that's kind of like the hot card right now. So here's an Espeon, right? Espeon, alt art, and a 10. It's like a $250 card. Not crazy expensive. It's like a $250 card, but you could literally get either one of these for that same price. You know, like both of these you could find for 250 or under. I'm sure of it. Um, and it's just important because we're going to start talking about the pop report. I think there's like over 3,000 of these. And that's just PSA. I'm just talking about PSA right now. We're not even getting into like CGC and Beckett. So like there's a billion of this card out there. It's not that rare, right? Here's the Moonbreon. The Moonbreon in the 10. This is the one we're talking about. It's about a $900 card right now, 900 to 1,000. It fluctuates a little bit. It's a beautiful card, and I love it. This is a stunning card. I'll never sell it. I actually have a couple of these. I love it. It's a great piece of art. Just remember that this card is like $1,000, and that's important when we look at the pop report, right? Here's another one. This card's picking up a lot of steam lately. The Alakazam EX. It is a beautiful card. It's got Lugia and Umbreon in the background. Fates Collide. It is still like kind of a modern card, but it is a beautiful card that has seen a pretty high jump in value lately. Just a cool card. I really only showed that off because of this Gold Star. I wanted to talk about the Gold Stars today. Um, and just kind of like go over some important. So like this Alakazam in a PSA 9. I forget the exact pop, but it's under 300, I think. And we're gonna show you all that in a second. We're gonna talk about it. It's just kind of crazy to me that this Alakazam, you can literally get this Alakazam cheaper than you could get that Moonbreon. Like we're talking about a gold star here in a PSA 9. You can get cheaper than that Moonbreon. Same thing goes for Metagross. Metagross is about the same price as a Moonbreon in a PSA 9, and the population is so much lower. And I just, I know we're comparing apples and oranges here with modern and vintage, and I know that it's not going to be the same for everybody. I'm just trying to get this information out there so people can make, I feel like, more responsible decisions. I don't know. Personally, I love Moonbreon. I don't think it's $1,000 card. That's just my opinion. Take it for a grain of salt, but I'll show you why I don't think it's $1,000 card in a second. We got Gold Star Kyogre, another beautiful one. Got too many cards out here. Here's a big hitter, the Gold Star Gary. So this is a PSA 9 Gold Star Gyarados. This one I am pretty familiar with. There's less than 200 of these in a 9. Like in a 9, there are less than 200 Gold Star Gyarados. And I actually know 4 people in my local like Charlotte community that have these. So that's a super super cool one. We got the Gold Star Celebi over here. And this is actually the UK exclusive Gold Star Celebi, but another just like cool card. Again, I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker, trying to be quick about it. So we showed you guys the Nidoking already. Here's the Kingdra in English. And you can kind of see like where the differences are. There's definitely a lot of hollow pattern on this, and it is definitely a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. Like I love the crystals. I could stare at them for days. I love the crystals. But the Japanese ones, guys, they hit so different in person. Now we go into like Skyridge set. So Skyridge, you can kind of see it actually does have that like hollow outline box that I was talking about that are on the Japanese ones. So that's kind of cool. It got like the Skyridge treatment. This is Ho-Oh. It's another beautiful, beautiful card. I love all the crystal types. We got a Kabutops, another great one, right? Like another PSA 9 card. Beautiful, beautiful card. Perfect for spooky season. Like, look at that background. We got this perfect time for spooky season. And it's just not that expensive. It's not as expensive as you would think. And Golem is the last crystal that I brought out today. I don't have a crystal Charizard, otherwise I'd show you guys. That's the other one that we're missing. Golem is awesome too. Like, these are all amazing cards in my opinion. I love them. They're my favorite things. And so yeah, we're gonna just show you guys why I'm bringing this up and why I'm talking about like rarities of cards and all that kind of stuff real quickly. Let's switch that. All right, so you guys should be able to see my screen. I'm sharing my laptop screen with you guys, and we're just gonna look at some pop reports. So first off, if you guys are curious what the pop report is, let's just talk about that. So PSA, CGC, and Beckett all on their website have the current total population of each card that they have graded in each grade. So you can actually look up and see how many people have a Gold Star Metagross in a PSA 9, right? Like this is information we have. Super easy way to find it. You don't need to be a member. Super easy way to find it. Just go to Google, type in Pokemon Pop Report, and type in the set you want. So the first set we're going to look up is Wind from the Sea, which is the Japanese Aquapolis. There it is. It's the very first link. We're just going to click on it, and boom. I opened up all the other pop reports I want to talk about today just for ease, but I did want to show you guys how easy it is to get here. From here, you can just kind of scroll down so you can see. Here we go. We got the 1s, the 1.5s, all the way up to the 10s, and then it'll tell you the total amount of cards graded. So, here we go. So 10s, right? So Wind from the Sea Oddish. There have been 2 total graded. One's a 9, one's a 7. Not many people are grading Oddish. It's a common card, right? So then you go through and you can look at the whole set and you can just kind of scroll around and find your cards. The cards that we want to look at are most likely going to be towards the bottom. Here they are. We're messing up a little bit. I'm going to get the mouse. There we go. We got the mouse now. We can like kind of scroll a bit easier. All right. So first thing we're going to look at, Hollow Nidoking. While we're here, I'm going to make this point because I forgot to make this point earlier. Japanese cards have first edition and unlimited runs. Now, all you guys out there that are used to English Pokemon cards, you might know first edition is more desirable. With Japanese cards, it's actually the exact opposite. Unlimited is harder to get and is more desirable. It's the rarer version of the card. The first edition is not actually that rare. It's still rare, but not as rare. You know what I mean? So let's look at Nidoking. So Nidoking in a first edition, which is the more common version, there are 152 PSA 10s. So there's only 152 PSA 10 Crystal Nidokings in Japanese in first edition. We have one of them. I am super blessed to own one of them. And I bring that up because I got that card for 1600 bucks. And you can get a Latios alt art from Tag Team. That's like a 2K card, and its population is a lot higher than 152. So I'm just, like, it's one of those things where you got to collect what you like, but you should also kind of look at this information. Like, this information is publicly available. And as you grow as a collector, you start to learn that you end up liking rarer cards more, right? Like, I've been down this journey already, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the evolution of a collector in later videos. I've already gone down this journey, and I just wanted to make sure that people know. Look at all the information you have. Figure out what you really like and what you really want before you start spending like a lot of money. Like, obviously, we're only covering super expensive cards right now because this is hard to get back. Like, if you're going to spend this much money, you're going to want to make sure that it's something you really really love. And I'm saying this and doing this because I've made the mistakes too and buying in stuff that I don't truly love. Like, I actually had a PSA 10 Latios. I managed to sell it and I did pretty okay on it. So I'm happy with it overall. But at the end of the day, I did not love that card the same way that I love some of these. And that's why I have these in my collection still. Um, so now let's look at Kingdra. Kingdra in first edition, there's 156. What's cool about my Kingdra though is I actually have the unlimited. So I am one of 48 people that have this card. Less than 50 people in the world have this card. And that to me, like, that's crazy. That's so rare. And it means more to me to have a card that rare than to have a card that everyone has. Like, I've kind of gotten tired of seeing everybody posting their Umbreons and everybody posting their grade reveals about, oh, I got this PSA 10 Umbreon, and now it's $1,000. And it's like, yeah, it is $1,000, and that's just how supply and demand works. A lot of people want this card. I'm not going to argue it's an amazingly looking card. It's a beautiful card, but should it really be $1,000? Like, I kind of feel like that's just a little overpriced. And this is why I feel like that's overpriced. It's the very next card we're going to look at. I have it pulled up, ready to go. Umbreon VMAX Secret Rare, number 215. This is the alternate art. There are 8,556 currently graded. People are still opening this set. People are still pulling this card. And currently, in a PSA 10, there are 8,556. That doesn't even account for Beckett and CGC 10s that are out there, and they're all selling for $1,000. So you could realistically get so much like rarer stuff. Like, it's crazy to me to process this that 8,556 people would rather spend $1,000 on a PSA 10 Umbreon than on a PSA 9 Gold Star Metagross because they're about the same price, or a PSA 9 Gold Star Alakazam, or throw in a couple extra $100 a PSA 10 Crystal Kingdra. I mean, that's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me that people actually think that this is a rare card. Like, I don't know who's out there thinking this is a rare card. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, guys. It's not. It's a cool card. It's an amazing card. I love it. But do your homework, guys. Should you be spending $1,000 on something that 8,500 people already have and more are going to be pulled? Like, by the time it's done, this is going to be a pop 10,000. I'm almost guarantee it. So then we got Espeon. All right. I was close. I said I think it was around 3,000. It's around 3,635 is the exact number for the Espeon VMAX Alt Art. So that's like a $250 card as an Alt Art. I think that that's a good price, right? Like, that's kind of a fair price to me. Like, I don't hate that card, But again, for the same price of this Espeon, you could get this Ampharos or this Blastoise, dealer's choice. You could get either one of these for the same price as this. And we'll look at these ones. Let's look at these next. So right here, we got the Dark Blastoise in a first edition, the non-holographic. There's only 603 of those in a 10. So what is that? About a fifth? About a fifth or a sixth even? 1/6 of the population, and they're about the same price. And I get it. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card. I do get it. And this is definitely like a little bit more lackluster, so I totally understand. But it's just like you got to think about. Eventually, you will think about rarity, right? Like just remember that. Like your collection goals. Eventually, as you evolve as a collector, you start wanting to get into stuff. You start by ripping packs. You start having fun. Then you start going to trade nights and you start meeting up with other people in the community. And all it takes is one person in the community to bring out the gold stars and the crystal types for you to just kind of be like, wow, those are really, really cool. I really, really like those, but I can never afford them. And then those people will be like, actually, dude, they're not as expensive as you think. They're still expensive, but they're not as expensive as you think. And I'm making this video because that's exactly what happened in my community. Me and another one of my friends basically introduced gold stars and crystal types. We were the first two. We brought out gold stars, we brought out crystal types, we showed them off, we talked to people. I'm a huge member of the community, so I'm always talking to people and making friends and having fun and trying to help everybody out and give information when I can. And I've seen a lot of other people in my local community start collecting gold stars and crystals now. Um, and I just think that this is good information to be out there. Like just know that you guys don't instantly get turned off because you hear that it's one of the cream of the crop cards. You can still afford it. There's still ways that you can do it. You can trade. Like if you pulled an Espeon VMAX or an Umbreon VMAX and you got them graded and you got the 10, you could trade those cards. Like you can get other stuff that you truly like. And if you truly like Umbreon, keep Umbreon. I love Umbreon. I'm keeping 3 or 4 of them. Like I love the card. I think it's an amazing artwork. I would say that the Umbreon is probably my favorite modern card. Probably my favorite card since Black and White started. This is probably my favorite card. I mean, this is literally just a work of art, and it's beautiful. It's just not that rare. When we talk about rarity and rare Pokemon cards, it's not that rare. So here's that Ampharos Hollow. Ampharos, so this is the unlimited pop report, by the way. So Ampharos Hollow, there's 55 of them in a 10. 55. Only 55 of these exist in a 10 in PSA, and they are literally cheaper than an alternate art Espeon in a PSA 10. That to me is just kind of wild. Like it's like I know there's not a lot of Ampharos fans out there, but I also kind of feel like it's people just don't know that it's out there. People don't know that they can afford it. And so like we just don't see as many people talk about it and love the vintage cards. Like I love vintage cards, right? We got Lapras Hollow. Lapras Hollow, there's 44. 44 people own a Lapras Hollow and a PSA 10. It's even less than CGC. I know that because I got mine. I got mine graded with CGC. Um, and I'll make another video where we compare grading services because I have a lot to say about that topic. But that's not here or there. Uh, in CGC, that Lapras is a pop 19. So I like top of my head, I know that one, right? But like that goes to show you, right? Like a raw lightly played Umbreon at like $400 is cheaper than a PSA 10 Fossil Lapras Hollow from 1999. And there is literally a fraction. You know what? Let's get a calculator up. Let's get a calculator and just show you guys exactly what I mean. Like we got time, we got this. So there's 44 Lapras and there was 8556 Umbreons. Yes, so 0.5%. That's what it comes out to. 0.5%. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I it's just crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I don't understand it. Gold stars, they're even crazier. Gold stars. Let's talk about these gold stars for a second. So I know we didn't show off Groudon, but we got Groudon right here. In a 9, there's only 211 of them, and in a 10, there's only 69. For Kyogre, in a 9, there's 220. In a 10, there's 66. And for Metagross, in a 9, there's 223, and in a 10, there's 57. These are like the truest of true rare cards. These cards still existing in good condition, these are like Grail cards, right? When I think of Grail cards, these are what I think of now as a collector. And you can literally get this Metagross that there's only 223 of for the same price as the Umbreon that there's 8,556 of. I don't know. Again, collect what you like. I'm not trying to influence your decision. I just want you guys to know that this information is out there. This information is accessible. You can look at it, you can find the right sales data, and you can kind of use this to see like maybe what should I collect or like what should I invest in, right? If you're talking about investment purposes, is something that there's 8,856 of really as investable as something that there's only say 200 of? I don't know. I would say this is the better investment hold. And I know it all comes down to supply and demand and what people like, and more people like Umbreon VMAX. I'm not gonna get into all that. Like it's true, Umbreon VMAX is a beautiful card. And I'm not trying to put any hate. I gotta just emphasize that too. I don't want to put any hate on this card. If you like this card, that's awesome. I like this card too. I love this card. This card is literally a work of art. It is probably the most beautiful card that Pokemon has ever put out. Just being honest, it's an amazing card. It's just I feel like I've seen so many people pull it and so many people have it that it's just not like a rare card. And I feel like so many people instantly get turned off saying I can never afford rare cards when like some of these cards are actually somewhat affordable. Now Gyarados is not somewhat affordable. There's 166 of those in a 9. 36 of those exist in a 10. Um, it's notorious for having a print line, so that's why the 36 is kind of a hard number. But again, like these are like the real rare, real grail cards, right? And as you guys go on your journey and evolve, you'll start looking at this and you'll start realizing like, wow, yeah, like Alakazam 277, Celebi 304. It's actually 100 Celebis in a 10. That kind of surprises me. Um, you guys will go on your journey and you guys will, make your own decisions and have fun and collect what you like. Always, always, always collect what you like and what makes you happy because that's the whole point of it. But just be smart when you're making investments. I've had so many people come to me in my local community that say, "Hey, like I want to start investing in Pokemon. Like what do you think are good like long-term plays? Like what's a good hold? Like should I get this sealed and keep it forever? Should I get this 10 and keep it forever? Like what do you think are some good plays?" And I think that I am not in a position to give anybody financial advice. But my advice before making financial decisions is that you should do your homework and you should use all the resources that are available to you. And the PSA Pop Report is one of the biggest resources available to you. You're looking at eBay sales, sold listings and looking at trends in the market and all of that and how this performed over age versus how this is performing currently. I think that it's all important information for you to use and for you to make um, those financial decisions. So here's the English crystal types in a 10. The Golem, there's 225 tens and 279s. The Ho-Oh has 97 tens and 251 nines. And then the Kabutops down at the bottom has 190 and 280. I mean, these cards are just that rare. Like, these cards don't really exist as much. Like, they're that rare and all of them are less than some modern cards. Like you can I picked up my Ho-Oh for 1,700 for my 9. That's literally less than the price that I got for the Latios that I sold. It's kind of wild to think about that. Um, and then here we got the Aquapolis ones. We got 258.85 on Kingdra. Lugia, one of the most graded cards, 437 and 131. And I'm going to preface this too. I forgot to mention this, but now that we're at the end of the pop reports, we'll talk about it real quick. These numbers are also a little bit inflated. They're not like crazy, crazy, crazy inflated, but they are a little inflated because there's going to be people that get 9s, crack them out, and try to get 10s. So there's probably not 437 Lugias. There's probably closer to like 350 Lugias that actually exist in a 9 that people just cracked out and got new 9s. Um, just random information. And then you got the Nidoking at 369, 104. beautiful, beautiful card. They're all amazing, and these are all super low pops. Uh, I did not actually pull up the tag team report. I did mean to pull that up so we can talk about the $2,000 card. Uh, it's not called tag team. Oh, we just had a big dumb moment. It's called team up, not tag team. Tag team is Japanese. I'm all over the place today, guys. My bad. Sorry about that. But let's look that up real quick, and I'll show you guys the Lottie Hearts. So like the Lottie Hearts is probably gonna populate a picture. Oh no, it didn't. It chose Pikachu. Um, it's like the most popular modern card. It's the most expensive of the modern cards. I think it's on page 2. Pretty sure it's on page 2. Here we go. Latios GX. This is the alternate art card. Is this the... Wait, hold on. Or is this the Latios? Why are there two? I hate when they do that. This is the regular full art. This is the alt art. Okay. 1,080 exist in a PSA 10. 665 exist in a 9. And this is like a $2,000 card right now, guys. So like you could literally have any of these other cards that I showed you that have pops under 100, under 200, or you could have this one card that has a pop of 1,080. And it's a beautiful card. Like we didn't get to show it off. Let's look it up. Latios GX 170. Let's show it off. Here it is. As you guys can see. Let me make this bigger. I don't think there's any way for me to make it bigger on here, but this is the card. I wish I could make this bigger. It's the alternate art version of the Latios. It's a beautiful card. It's amazing. It's not $2,000 amazing, but it's amazing. It's a beautiful card. And this is the card that I kind of fell victim of. Like, I was like, ooh, man, I really do like that. Oh, man, the prices are starting to jump. Like, I need to get that now. And I kind of gave into FOMO a little bit. And I bought this card in a PSA 10. I bought it for $1,400. And I was like, man, like, I way overspent. Like, I could have got so much other better stuff, in my opinion. I was able to sell it, thankfully. I sold it for $1,800. So I ended up taking a win on it. It was good. And then I put that money into what I consider better stuff, right? Um, but yeah, that was just like a brief what we're talking about. We're gonna go back to the cards view for a second here. And just because I want to show you guys what I was talking about earlier with the Japanese cards. Uh, Here we go. So Japanese cards have first edition and unlimited. So this is a first edition Nidoking. You can tell by that, if it'll focus for me. There we go, that edition 1 right there. So this is the Kingdra right underneath it. See how it's missing that 1? This Kingdra is unlimited. So yeah, less than 50 people. This is a pop 48. I'm one of 48 people that gets to own this Kingdra, which to me is special. It adds a special bit of value to me, right? Like, and even this Nidoking, pop 152 on this Nidoking, I feel blessed to own that. Like, these are some crazy, crazy, crazy cards that I don't know. I feel like people think about those cards and just instantly just decide that they can't afford them because everybody talks about like how the holy grails are like the shinings, the crystals, the gold stars, right? Now the alt arts are starting to come up. First edition vintage, like it's all talked about and people are just like, I can't afford that. But like the reality is if you can afford an alt art Umbreon, you can afford that. And this is the last thing that I want to touch up on before we kind of just end it. Perfect tens. So here is a card. In a 10, the Alt Art Aerodactyl Japanese is about a $150 card. As a perfect 10, it jumps up to $500. So to get a 10, you need to have 3 of those 4 being a 10, and then 1 being a 9.5. So it's for a half of a grade better card, this thing goes up over 3 times value. That to me is kind of crazy in and of itself. Both CGC Perfect 10s and Beckett Black Labels have a tendency to do this. Guys, if you like it, collect what you like. Always collect what you like. I'm not trying to put it off. I'm not trying to say anything bad about it. Like, this is a beautiful card. I love this card. I graded this myself, so I'm gonna keep it. Um, this card sells for like 700 bucks. The regular 10s go for like 120, 130 bucks. So like it's one of those things like 7 times value for literally half of a grade in one of 4 subgrades. That to me seems kind of like a scam. And my advice to you guys is I would never buy these. Like, no matter who you are, I would never buy a perfect 10. I would never buy a black label. If you like those, yo, by all means, congrats. Like, that means you have more money than God, and I appreciate that for you. I am happy for you. You on the come up. Like, let's go. Enjoy it. Collect what you love. Like, if you love the look of black labels, collect those all day. Like, go get them. I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but I don't think it's worth that much of a price jump. That's a big price jump. And I just want you guys to know that. And like, just, I wanted to talk about it briefly. Collect what you love. Always collect what you love. This is what I love, and this is what I'm going to collect. Um, Thank you for joining my TED Talk. I appreciate everybody. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, like, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that the Alt Art Umbreon should be $1,000 card? Did you guys know that there was 8,556 Alt Art Umbreons in existence? Did you guys think that you could get these crystals and gold stars for cheaper than the cost of a PSA 10 Alt Art Umbreon? Like, let me know in the comments if you guys knew all that already and this was just like useless information, or let me know if this was kind of like a little bit eye-opening and like got you to kind of think about some stuff, right? Like that's what we're here for. We're here to talk about some stuff that I think is relevant, and we're here to talk about some stuff that I think you guys should know and I think that you guys should use. I don't think a lot of people use the pop report enough, and I think that that's something that every collector should start getting into the habit of doing. But all right, guys, I appreciate you guys sticking around and having this TED Talk with me, and we'll check you guys later.